What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. I'm a little sorry. I know I'm a little late. I was having some connectivity issues, but I'm here now. So, like the video's intro plays because we got a lot to get into in this episode.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. That's all. 1 and 1 got to equal 2.
Make it make sense, boo.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. I want to make it make 1.
Big moves.
Surfer.
Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
I remember when Candy Hair used to look like this. I fly above. I fly above. I fly. No, that what you? No, I fly above.
Okay, I just have to share this really quickly. Y'all, I don't know what's about to go on with RHOA, but if it stays in this direction, this is not going to cut it. We're going to get into it. We're going to make this one a fun one, but we shouldn't be making it a fun one. We should be genuinely happy with the episode. Y'all put in the chat if y'all were genuinely happy with the episode. Thank you so much. DM Rock says, hey, I agree with Kenya. Don't touch me if I don't know you. I could know you and I still don't want you touching me. Thank you, DM Rocks, for the super chat. You guys can give it a 1 through 10. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. If you thought this episode was popping. Because I'm not going to lie. I kind of got caught up in Real Housewives of New York. So I was doing all the stuff that I needed to do for this review, but I was casually also watching Housewives in New York. And they're gonna have to get it together. 6, 5, 6 filler. Even with filler episodes, they could give us something. This it didn't give what it was supposed to give. I'm sorry. And I'm not gonna try to fake it till I make it with you guys. Let me share this with Instagram, let them know that we're live. Okay, done. 5, 7, 5. The hotel gets a 10. I did like the hotel. The hotel gets a 10, but we're going to get into Drew's decorations. Filler. It was okay, but the drama seems manufactured. It was all right. Yeah, it's not doing what it's supposed to do, y'all. It's not, and I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not. I'm just judging what you give me, and y'all aren't giving me enough. I was more interested in the altercation between what happened with RHOP and those girls than this episode of RHOA. But let's start. Hey, y'all! Happy Sunday. I had a whole cheat weekend. I went to an 80-year-old's birthday party. That was more fun than the episode. So shout out to him. It's my friend's dad. He's a super dope guy. I enjoyed it. Real family environment. I had a good time. Drew is hosting a brunch. Now, I'm a stickler for housewife type things, right? We all see it. We all know what looks good, what doesn't look good. I want to start with this. I liked Drew's silverware. I liked her plates, but I was bored with everything else. We're so accustomed to seeing very elaborate things. What was this? This was the most basic. I'm nobody's host, but I threw a Christmas thing and even my dessert table looked better than Drew's. I'm serious. I set this up. This was like not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before last. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. You just, add a couple flowers. These aren't even expensive flowers. They came from Kroger's. Where's the centerpiece? Exactly. Did I like the premiere? I didn't actually get to watch it because it takes me a while to actually put together these reviews. So I just kind of casually heard some of the things they were saying. I will be watching it tomorrow and reviewing the show tomorrow. Y'all can put if you want me to do it live or you want me to do a pre-record for the first one, but I'm excited about that show. Y'all can tell me, is it that hard for you to try? Because this didn't really take much of anything. And this was just the dessert area. But I just like, it's not that hard. Y'all got a whole chef, and this is what y'all gave them. And we're so accustomed to seeing very elaborate things. Not even parties. So, okay, so y'all are with me. We got like 200 people in here. Definitely hit the like button. So let's move on. Sheree's shading Kenya for not bringing her boyfriend. That's light shade, whatever. Y'all, whatever. That's light shade. I'm not mad. I'm not upset with it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. She did always ask about Martell, so it's safe to ask. But I don't really think that Rory is who Kenya is. Like with. I liked him up until this episode. Kenya shades Marlo's man's outfit. Now, I think Marlo's man was wearing Versace. Where is it? Do I have a picture of him? I think I have a picture of him. He came in wearing Versace. I wasn't mad at his outfit. I don't know what Kenya was talking about. I don't even think I have a picture of him. The guys, y'all, they need to do better. I think he was wearing like a Versace sweater. I don't believe Marlo's relationship either. I think this man is just trying to get camera time. He's been on television before. I don't think he has the money for Marlo. I don't think he's the right nationality. I think he's below 80. So I don't think Marlo is actually interested in him. But it's cool for her to film with somebody, I guess. And I'm just a straight shooter. Rory calling Kenya whenever she's filming, I think that's also produced as well. I don't like him anymore, Kenya. Find somebody else who's not like. I don't think Rory's looking for a moment, but now that I know with the Marlo stuff, which we'll get into in a minute, I don't like him anymore. He's tainted. Has he had all of his shots? I just don't. I'm not feeling him. Mark. Marlo was more happy to find out that Roy was somebody that Kenya was now seeing. Marlo was extremely pleased with herself. And what she was hoping for was one of these moments from Kenya, and she didn't get it. I don't think Kenya was about to let Marlo see her sweat, but Marlo was happy. Marlo was overjoyed at the thought that she had something over Kenya. No lie. The problem, Marlo, is, again, Marlo was not this happy since her release date from prison. This was the last time we saw Marlo this happy, this overjoyed. If it was just a dry, would Kenya do it to Marlo? Yes. In a heartbeat. They would be saying the same thing, sloppy seconds. But the thing is, this doesn't necessarily feel... This season is disjointed because these people are not friends. These people are not actually interested in the betterment of each other. The conversations seem forced. They're not friends. They don't want to be around each other. It might as well have been Team A and Team B. Just go ahead and move Candy over to Monetta and Kenya's side and put the other girls over there with Marlo. Done. This iteration of women has run its course. I don't care about Courtney. I'm not that interested in Marlo and who she's dating. Candy, I think Candy said Marlo doesn't have sex. And she needs to get some money from them before she'll open up. Whore behavior. That was a cute enough read, but I'm just right. They're not friends. Kenya was hot that Roy dated Marlo. Kenya was not about to let Marlo see her sweat. But I'm just not feeling Roy. I'm not. I'm not. Let him go. So we got to actually see exactly what happened several years ago. Marlo was trying on something and Roy wanted to see her in a bodysuit. What is this? To me, are you just trying to like chop down a housewife? Is Marlo like prime real estate in Atlanta and we just don't know about it? Did he think that his black card could buy him a date with her? What is this? And here's my thing, Marlo. We don't know anything about your dating life. You brought one older white man to Cynthia's wedding. We see that you got the hover round, you know, the thing where you sit whomever is in need, because it doesn't necessarily have to be elderly, but you sit the person in need in the cart and it takes them upstairs. We all know that Marlo dated somebody who was probably like 93. She probably dated J. Howard Marshall as well at the same time. At the same time, Anna Nicole was dating him. Who knows? The point is, you, excuse me, you don't tell us anything about your dating life. So, but now you're comfortable saying you dated Roy. Why did you were on the show in 2018? Why wasn't Roy brought on the show? Just saying, but you're quick to say you dated this man now. Just go off, Marlo. There's very few and far between that you get one over on Kenya, and this was one of those moments. Kenya couldn't even, I mean, just happy, ear to ear. She kind of looked. The smile on her face never left. Just saying. It was a mess. So Kenya kind of came back and was like, you know, she had a little comeback, but you could tell the air was let out of her balloon. She was like, for showing him what not to do. Run, Kenya. You already got rid of nose ring. He's still around. We don't need anybody who dated Marlo. Not at all. Q, we're right. I'm right with you. The show was dry, boring. Recast the show, Andy. Drew looked like she was wearing a hammock, and Candy Confession looked awful. Marlo had a few cute reads, but the show was dry. Who really cares about any of them? You know, usually I don't agree with Q. I'm with you, Q. Get rid of the majority of them. Get Monetta a peach. Give her Marlo's. I like the fact that she has an actual orphanage. She's walking it and talking it. Very few people can say they have an orphanage where they just give back to kids. I love that. Thank you so much, Carol. She says, I live for your reviews, Mims. Thank you so much, Carol. I appreciate that. Yeah, y'all, a mess. This was a whole mess. Candy announces that Drew is gonna be in her show. Okay. Kenya is kind of feeling the way because she wasn't offered to be in the movie. Drew had a decent enough read when she was like, RHOA was 22 years ago. Cute enough read. But, you know, we're getting into the red flags about Rory, whatever his name is. Cut off all contact with this man. The question is, did Monetta know Marlo and Roy talk? It was like the text message said 2018, so it's like 5 years ago. I highly doubt that he's advertising that he paid for a date with Marlo. I highly doubt it. We got like 300 people, well, more than 300. Definitely hit that like button. It lets the people know that we are here. Sheree brings up the fact that Drew has a lawsuit. And we find out that the lawsuit was actually for $1,000. Drew, did you not pay that lady? Because it sounds like she came and cooked for you. So you have purchasing the food, then preparing the food. I could see that being $1,000 easy. But then Drew comes back with, well, don't you have some unpaid debts as well? Like, I don't know if Sheree should be the one actually talking about that. Because y'all remember this? I think this was like, what, 20? I don't even know if Sheree was on the show. It might have been one of the times she got fired. But they came out. She hadn't paid $300,000 in her taxes. You remember she had liens on the house. She didn't pay the gardeners. That was $10,000 when actually they did the work. So I don't know if right message, wrong messenger. I don't know who put her up to that, but Sheree not paying is too easy of a read. You know what I mean? $1,000. Yeah. Why she didn't just pay this woman this money, I don't know. Because your attorney is going to charge more than that. It says, but Kenya and Roy were introduced by a friend. Doesn't sound like he was after any woman on the show to be linked to them. Yes, because he knew Marlo was on the show. Orchid. He knew that Marlo was on the show. He's following her on Instagram and DMs her. And then Marlo probably goes, does a credit check, a background check. He finds out he owns a business and allows him to take her on a date. He did know that. And Monetta was also on the show and introduced him to Kenya, who was on the show. So this all happened like last year. Monetta was already a friend of the show. Yes, he absolutely knows that Kenya's on the show. So yeah, I don't like him anymore. Y'all can like him. I don't. Get rid of him. Get rid of him yesterday. Thank you so much, Beatrice. Bring Nene, Portia, and Phaedra back with the new cast. Now, Phaedra is happy on Married to Medicine. I don't think she's going anywhere because she's probably going to end up being the star of that show. People are highly waiting. I will be reviewing the show. I'm excited about seeing her on Married to Medicine, even though I don't think she's dating a doctor. Just saying. From what I heard, and y'all know I'm not one to gossip, she only had this doctor friend in order to get on the show as her tie-in, but they're not together. Nobody's posting it. And Phaedra now lives on Instagram. Thank you, Beatrice, for the super chat. Marlo is not ugly. Did anybody say she was ugly? Oh, y'all are arguing in the comments about her. I was about to say, I don't think I called her ugly. I think she's pretty. I just think I don't like her voice. And I don't like her personality, her spirit, her way of being, her pronunciation of words. None of it. I don't like it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm tired of hearing Sheree and Drew argue. I know it like they're doing that for the sake of the show, but I'm over it. Candy, we move on to the ride to Portugal. It is the lowest common. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we jump to that, we have like a little moment with Courtney and Kenya. And basically, Kenya tells Courtney she really does not want her to touch her. Courtney's the kind of person who laughs and she'll hit you. She'll laugh and she hits you. Kenya doesn't necessarily like Courtney. She's not going to like you. You are Marlo's friend. And we kind of all see that this show is you're going to be on a side regardless. You don't get brownie points for sticking in the middle of the road on this show. So basically, she doesn't really F with you like that. So she tells her, stop hitting her, and Courtney feels a way about it. But yes, Kenya is dismissive to you because she don't like you. She doesn't care for Marlo, and it's not going to change, and she doesn't respect you. Ray, if Marlo wasn't intimate with him, what's the issue? I think the issue is Marlo was super happy to talk about it, but we don't know anybody else that Marlo has ever been with in life. And I'm sure let me not say that. I don't know that lady like that. I was about to be ugly. I don't think that Marlo's a virgin. And Marlo has been on the show for 10, 11, 12 years. I think since what, like season 3, maybe? Season 3. And we're on season 15. And we technically don't know anybody she dated. But she was super happy to mention this guy when she could have mentioned him in 2018 when she was on the show and dating him or went on that date with him. So that was my problem with it. Candy's irritable bowel syndrome. Marlo is always going to be the lowest common denominator on this show. I did not need to hear any segment of grown people talking about somebody else's IBS. IBS exists, people, but why this is a topic of RHOA? Because Marlo's on the cast. If there is ever a situation where somebody's going to talk about paying for sex, farting, pooping, Marlo is going to bring it up. Like, for real. It's like not even a game. It's like somebody who is stuck in 9th or 10th grade. The only thing she cares about are clothes, money, boys, cars. It really is a real life city girl. The problem is you're 50 and you're now a woman. So you are a city woman. What are you doing? Nothing has changed. This is all you want. Let's move on. Oh my God, y'all. I was really hoping for something. I was like, okay, maybe Portugal will give us something. We get to see that the hotel was nice. You know, the hotel was, from what we saw so far, the hotel was nice. They didn't give us like too many like clips of like the room, but you know, whatever. Sheree is consistently talking about this is positive energy. This is a positive trip. We're going to do positive things. Okay, Sheree. Okay. We get a conversation between Drew and who was that conversation with? Who was Drew talking to? Oh, Drew and Monetta. I skipped the part. We find out that Drew's husband is also, he has left the kids as well to go to Vegas to audition for the Black Magic Mike. If I'm going to take my clothes off, I'm going to want to do it for Magic Mike, not the Black Magic Mike. Why is there a black and a white Magic Mike? Strippers are separate. It's segregation in stripping. But I would look. Why would a married man who we all know he works for the Geek Squad at Best Buy and they're not sending him to Vegas, why would he be going to Vegas when his wife is also out of the country to go and audition to be a stripper? Because he is the most trustworthy person already. What are we doing here? It didn't make sense. And I imagine at the end of the episode when Drew was crying, this is why she was crying, because of the fact that this man don't want her. He's gotten a little fame from it. You know, I'm sure Drew and Martell Holt are probably actually related. That's what we're going to find out next. 2 peas in a pod. The jokes write themselves, y'all. You're auditioning for the Black Magic Mike. Let's move on to Monetta and Drew. I love the fact that Drew is actually not Drew. Monetta has that orphanage. That is so dope to me. I didn't even know that you could establish your own orphanage. And I really wonder what that actually like costs to do. Y'all know I really like charity work. So I was really happy with that. I like seeing that. It adds an element to the show more so than Sheree living in a mansion that she can't afford. This woman is actually walking the walk and talking the talk. And I love it. Absolutely love it. We have Marlo with a ton of fashions that she probably can't afford and then boosted allegedly. We got Courtney, the bobblehead. I like Monetta. I like the fact that she does this charity work. Well, not the black D looks better. It caters to two different audiences. Okay. Well, do y'all want to see Applehead, Blockhead, Ralph in a G-string? Don't answer that. Don't answer that. Because I'm sure some of y'all do want to see him. Drew says she's never been to Africa. She's only been to South Africa. Okay. We get the next table scene. So they're now supposed to talk about the negativity that's gone on. And Courtney wants to address Kenya because she's heard that Kenya feels that she is distant and that Courtney invades her personal space. And Kenya once again pretty much dismisses her. In all honesty, if somebody says stop touching me, then that's it. That shouldn't even be a conversation. And being dismissed or being dry with her, I think that you've picked a side, Courtney. We met you through Sheree, and now you are completely Team Marlo. So you're getting exactly what happens when you pick a side so early on. And you just happen to pick the wrong side because nobody likes your team. A couple people like Sheree. Let me not lie. A few people like Sheree. They just won't admit it. Just won't admit it. Ralph is not attractive to me. Some people like him, you know. It is what it is. It is what it is. Now, here's where it gets kind of tricky. Y'all, I think I understand now why I don't see it for Sheree. Drew made a very valid point. We have already addressed me saying that I didn't get my Sheree by Sheree items. The rest of the girls said they didn't get their She by Sheree items. And Sheree goes from 0 to 60 on this lady. Like, it was like that. She went from 0 to 60 real quick. And it didn't make sense. And the rest of the girls are trying to explain it. And then it clicked. I don't like people who don't have good understanding. And I kind of deciphered that a long time ago with Marlo and Sheree. When they did when they did that, you can't read the things you're saying are unintelligible, but they're not exactly the swiftest. I'll say that. They're not the most cerebral people. And when I was listening to her argue with Drew, there was nothing, like, she was getting more hyped and more hyped and more hyped. And I realized that Sheree don't have good understanding. That's the problem. It reminded me of this. We might get in trouble for me sharing this, but I don't care. This is what it reminded me of, y'all. Let me do this real quick, see if that helps. We might get in trouble for this one.
Own it. I pretended.
I pretended.
What did you pretend?
I pretended that we were happy, that I was happy, that the marriage was okay. I did that.
I'm not beating you. I pretended.
Have
you ever allowed yourself to feel? When did you realize?
You got the picture.
This one ain't it.
The house did.
It was this one.
Always kept it inside of here.
Where is it?
I thought he would change.
You thought of
this ain't it. There was a scene where Sheree was she said, looking at this edifice, is this for your children? And Sheree was like, do children ever ask for houses?
Represents your life.
I don't know. Where is it? Is it this?
You can build an edifice like that and then have to sue your ex-husband for child support. Why didn't that money go into your children?
That money goes into my children.
The money that went to build that. The money that went to build that.
It's theirs.
Did they ask you for that? Did your children
ask you for houses?
So Sheree was a teacher, you had a child. That ain't about your kids. That's about you.
This is what it gave me. There was no comprehension. That was that moment. Do children ask for houses? It was completely lost on her. She probably didn't know what edifice meant. That was probably the problem. So she said, okay, she's probably trying to read me, so I'm just going to read her back.
Sheree, here's the truth you got to tell. That ain't about your kids. That's about you.
Houses?
Did your
Does
children
kids
ask
usually
you for
ask for
that?
houses?
So
Does
children
kids
ask
usually
you for
ask for
that?
houses?
Ask you for that? Did your
Does
children
kids
ask
usually
you for
ask for
that?
houses?
This is what it gave. I was so frustrated watching her fight with Drew because it didn't make sense. You are talking about this is your trip where we're bringing peace, and you're going back to a fight that happened during what, last season's reunion? What is this? This is the reality when you put together a group of people who don't know each other, don't like each other, have nothing in common other than we have to make a scene to get a check. It is what it is. I'm gonna I don't typically do this on the reviews, and we're not gonna be here for too much. We're not gonna be here, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link and see if you guys are thinking kind of the way that I'm thinking, because I can't maintain with RHOA if this is what they are giving us. I'm actually kind of upset that they did not produce a better show. This episode I would have gave maybe a good 3. Okay, so y'all are with me. I think she understood her but didn't care. You came to her looking for help, not the other way around. She came to I think what it was, Sheree thought that she could go on Iyanla, get some attention, potentially get back on the show, but also use that to garner sympathy as to say, my husband's not paying child support. But what Iyanla did was actually talk about Sheree, and that's when it took a turn. If she can make herself be the victim in every situation, then perhaps it'll up her celebrity. The problem was, and I've told you guys this before, the allegations go, and this is real. Let me put the allegedly banner up, because don't sue me. I ain't got it. I ain't got it just like you, Sheree. Neither one of us got it. What happened was when Sheree had that little cottage-looking house where the gate didn't work from season 1, she was supposed to vacate that house. When she didn't vacate the house, then the house got foreclosed on and they lost the money. The proceeds from the house were supposed to be split up, and that was going to be divided but equally between Sheree and her ex-husband. And then that's where Sheree's 7-figure deal was supposed to come from. But Sheree forfeited that. Once she forfeited that, then that meant that she owed Bob Whitfield money. How can you owe me money and then I'm going to be paying you for child support? That's why Bob was allegedly able to go to that courtroom and beat Phaedra, Miss Creon, to win a case so easily, because it was on Sheree. Sheree dropped the ball. What's up, Hairtail?
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So what'd you think of this episode?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, you know what? It just sounds like it's echoing. Sorry. Oh,
no echo.
Yeah, the episode, I think it was boring. And I just feel that Sheree being the peacemaker, it doesn't work. It doesn't bode well. I think they need a whole new cast, and I'm tired of supporting RHOH.
I don't want to see them get rid of Candy Kenya. I don't mind Monetta. Drew is kind of growing on me.
Drew is growing on me. Yeah, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like I'm talking to myself. It's an echo, so I might have to hang up.
Oh, well, yeah, just come back up. It's fine.
Okay, sorry about that.
No problem. Where you at with the Q? I already know what Q about to say.
The show is boring. The show is dry. First of all, happy Sunday. How are you?
Hey, I was better before I rushed home to watch this episode.
Oh, I'm sorry you did that to yourself. The show is boring. The show is dry. And then my thing, and what I found interesting is tonight is the big premiere for New York.
Mm-hmm.
If it was me, I would have did like a spicy episode of Atlanta that would lead into a spicy episode of New York. Like,
It's called a tie-in. I'm with you.
yeah, like so now everybody's focus is not going to be on Atlanta, it's going to be on New York tomorrow morning when it's all said and done. Everybody on the show is annoying, like, right? Every single person. Sheree, Marlo, Candy, Kenya, Yonyetta, Courtney, Sanya, they're all annoying because nobody's working and they're so divided. They're so divided. I don't think they even know how to get past the division that's going on inside the group. We definitely know it's not like how it used to be, but Kenya don't want to work. Candy don't want to work. She barely showing up. Sanya ain't got nothing going on that we are interested about. Marlo lying like it ain't no tomorrow. Sheree, my girl, but I was side-eye her like, Sheree, now you the last person to call somebody out about not paying no bills. But then I'm also looking at Drew like, Drew, are you the next Sheree that can't pay no bills either? Because if you telling me you can't pay $1,000, sis, that's a problem. And I'm sure you're making a good 6 figures on this show. And I'm sure the lawyer costs more than $1,000, and I'm sure the lawsuit putting it all together costs more than $1,000. So, and I don't feel like Sheree was talking about it behind your, like, Drew made it seem like this lawsuit was the biggest lawsuit of her entire life, and it was over. Oh, like, girl, it's $1,000. But I don't know, I don't know, these last few, I'm gonna say seasons, because last year's season was dry as hell too. So I don't know. They got to recast the show. I think everybody needs to go. At this point, they need to do a remake, like an overhaul, like they did on New York.
I don't know how that would work. I mean, because you do have people who are fan favorites. Like, I didn't watch the season that Kenya left, or the season that they didn't bring her back. I didn't watch that season. I don't know that I would watch next season if they got rid of her. I just think she needs a worthy adversary.
Well, I know who it is, but it's Portia.
Who? I do think trust me, I think that they are gearing up for Portia to come back.
Yeah, it's Portia. I think it's time for Candy to go. I think she needs to bow out gracefully because there's really nothing else for her to talk about. I do not think that Sanya needs to come back. I do not think that Marlo needs to come back. If Marlo didn't see, here's the thing. I like Marlo when she's talking about I like her when it comes to her confessional looks, when she's throwing her light little shade and this and that. I don't like Marlo when she just be making stuff up just to be trying to make a scene. Like, it's so obvious that all these girls are trying to make a scene. Like, it's just...
Hold on. So you think that is cute for somebody, a grown 50-year-old woman, to talk about somebody else's irritable bowels?
No. Like, I said when she throws cute little shade, not when she's like making stuff up and being disgusting. No, the producer shouldn't have brought it up, and Marlo shouldn't have answered it. So they both.
We are talking about poop, Q. Like, literally, we are talking about poop.
That's what I'm saying. You talking about that? I said light shade. They all throw light shade at each other. I'm not talking about the heavy stuff that Marlo does. And I said Marlo looks good in her confessionals. That's all I can give Marlo. I can't give. I'm not going to hate
beautiful
on her.
gauns. Beautiful gowns.
I'm not going to hate on her just to hate on her. When she wrong, she wrong. It goes for all of them. When Kenya wrong. It's like it goes for all of them. But I just think it's time for. I think Portia comes back, but I feel like me personally, I feel like if Portia comes back, then you center the show around Portia and you bring girls up who, are. I don't want to say.
I don't want to watch a show about Portia. I might not. I didn't even like her. I didn't even like her spinoff, and it put my channel on the map. Reading Portia's coloring book.
So you got something to thank Portia. You got something to thank Portia for, then.
I don't have to thank her for nothing.
Putting you on the map, honey.
If she ever heard the stuff that I was saying, Jim, jump in. This is jump in. Tell us how you feeling.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about Sheree and my thoughts on her. So I do agree with what you were saying in regards to, like, she doesn't have any comprehension or like basic social awareness on what's going on around her. But I do think that as the show has gone along, she has separated the show versus reality. I think Candy had mentioned this a few weeks ago on her Speak On It, in that she would, talk shit about somebody on the show and then the next day just act like nothing has happened. I think that's what she's doing. Like, basically, she knows she's on a show. She needs to keep her peach. she needs to keep a recurring check, so she's going to do whatever. So when she was speaking to Drew, even though Drew was saying what was in reality, she was just like, what? No, well, you're stupid. Like, her comebacks didn't even make any sense. She was just responding without real thought.
Yeah, it was actually frustrating me, and that's why I thought about when she was on Iyanla Fix My Life, because I don't like people who don't have good understanding. I don't care if you're book smart, street smart, you can be whatever kind of smart you are. Just be some kind of smart. I can't go back and forth with somebody who does not understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. And what Drew said wasn't even that big of a deal. You took the clothes back. How was that embarrassing to
but
you?
I think she's just acting. I don't think she's really like that. I think she does have common sense, but she knows that she's on the show. And in that conversation, right, she couldn't have like a smart or witty comeback. So she would come back with like the silly comments like, well, that's stupid. You're a liar. Although everyone was telling her like, no, this is reality. We just like, the sky is blue. It is blue. What are you saying that I'm lying that the sky is blue? Like, her logic didn't make sense, to the point where it feels like she's just acting on the show just to maintain a check.
Sheree has that Nene syndrome. Remember when Nene used to call Nene out, and she used to be like, I didn't do that. That's not what I said. I didn't say that. It like, that's what Sheree gives. Sheree always been like that. I don't even know why people pay her any mind when it comes to that, because Sheree been like that since season 1. Like that ditzy, I didn't, my comebacks are not good enough. I'm just saying whatever to make a good show. Because like you said, what Drew was saying was like, girl, you hurt my feelings, and I thought we was getting to know each other. And Sheree could have been like, you know what, my bad, you're right.
Yeah, it's
but
forced.
It can't be the same person who was mad at Kenya for talking to, what is that guy from Huntsville? Montel, yeah. So she was upset with Kenya about Montel, but she can't understand why Drew was upset with her. Like, it just doesn't make sense overall. Yeah, to me, it just seems like an act that she's just putting on. Like, she's pretending to be willfully ignorant. She knows she looks silly.
Shanisha,
she was the joke.
Shanisha, before you jump in, okay, this might have just been me, but I'm a stickler. If you're gonna invite people over, and we've seen all these big elaborate stuff from Beverly Hills and Jersey, and I don't think we've seen too much elaborate stuff from Potomac. Did you find Drew's table kind of lackluster? Because if you're just now getting here, I compared it and contrasted it just to this little small dessert table at my house. Did you find it lackluster as me? Like, this was just the dessert area.
Do you have $1,000 to pay to help Drew out?
Well, obviously, if she has any money issues, remember last time she didn't have the $7,000 to pay. Yeah, she had a delayed payment plan.
And remember, she's still waiting on the third of that invoice from Sheree that Sheree said she was going to be sending over. But what Drew had on her table, honey, I could have had that at my table if I was hosting something. But I think that's one of the unfortunate parts about RHOA. I feel like that luxe element has kind of left the show. I would expect there to be some candles on the table, a huge center display of flowers, just different variations of things. But I don't feel like these women are putting in the effort anymore. And I feel like they don't feel that they have to, because they don't want to spend the coins, because they don't actually have that type of money to be, spending anymore. I just don't feel, of course, these women are not making what RHOA was making in their prime days.
Shanisha, I'm broke. I don't have no money, but you know what? I do have. I got a Kroger's card that gives me a discount on these flowers. So you know what? I went to Kroger's. That's not any money. You're right.
You're right. But I also think that's dependent on the person too. I just think Drew don't know no better. Drew don't know no better. And I do agree with you, Mims, on the whole point about Sheree and not having any understanding. But I also think from the moment we've met Sheree has always, I feel like her come up has always been her being this pretty girl who just lucked up and married this athlete who had this huge, salary, and she was just thrown into the elite, and that's it. Like, there's never been anything more to Sheree. Sheree is just a pretty face and a nice body. But
let's talk about that, Shanisa.
Okay.
Because I'm not a person who likes to like go in on people's looks. I'm not. However, with that being said, everybody has gone in on Sheree's most recent plastic surgery. Now, Sheree has always had like a really pronounced nose, right? She's a very pretty lady. The problem is, I think now Sheree has gone and she's gotten what's called a non-surgical nose job, and Portia's had it. Lots of people have had it. They put fillers in your nose, and they can basically like reshape your nose. They can also put something in your nose that can kind of like deteriorate bone. You'll see it in a few people's nose. You can see it. Bethany Frankel had it done to her chin and her jawline. The problem with Sheree is now that's what everybody's talking about. I'm gonna find a picture.
But when it go away, does it go away?
It reshapes your nose. No, Portia's nose is permanently like that.
Oh,
I don't think she needed it.
It might settle into her, like it might settle into her face. Because it looks, she looks different. Like I don't know if she filmed one day and then got the surgery one day and then started filming again after the surgery, but it's like two different people doing the same show.
I'm gonna find the image. I feel bad for her because it's, when you change your face is changed. Hopefully it is just filler. I think she admitted to having like one of those like small facelifts, and she looked great after that. That was last season, and I think she just kept going back. And now everywhere I'm seeing it, so many of y'all have DM'd me her pictures. I feel bad for her.
I think Sheree is chasing youth. If I go back to the earlier days of RHOA,
I thought she was chasing Bussy.
Well, hey, but like seriously, the early days of RHOA, I'm sorry, but I don't remember many looks from Sheree. Sheree has always been a pretty girl, but in early seasons, Sheree did not give me anything. And maybe it's just me. Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. Now, I feel like in these most recent seasons, Sheree's body is like 10 out of 10. She looks good. I don't know what maybe it's Martell. Maybe it's she drinking from a fountain of youth. I don't know. But she's definitely, paying for a little bit of something too. And it's like, Mama, leave your face alone. Leave your face alone. The black franchises, come on now. We don't do too much to our face now. Sheree look like a whole different woman.
I think Sheree got into working out and stuff like that as she got older. Because I agree, none of them gave looks or fashion. It kind of like once the check started coming in, then that's when they started to really get into it. But I always thought Sheree was a pretty girl. And then I feel like as she gets older, or as she was getting older, she was looking a lot better than she did like her first couple seasons. But then this like last couple weeks, she just been messing with her face, and I don't know why, because Sheree was I thought Sheree was a beautiful girl with body.
Yeah,
I think Sheree always came off as pretty, but we have to admit that your first season or two, you're not gonna look great. Very few people have come on this show because you have to learn how looking camera ready for reality TV works. You could be a pretty woman, you could be one of those people that goes to the beautician once a week, but there's something different that they have to do with the makeup and hair to be camera ready for a reality show.
Yeah,
so none of them.
She still ain't got it right. We 15.
What you won't do is come and Candy
for her.
Like
Candy
that.
Still ain't get it right.
We are not amused. We are not amused. I don't know what the show is going to take, to be honest with you. I do like RHOA. It's always been one of my favorite shows. But this episode, I was just like, I can't even like fake it till I make it with it. Let's be messy. If any of you guys,
I think Mims, I think the problem is that it's the division. It's the obvious division on the show. Like, think about back in the day when they would fight, they would get into arguments, stuff like that, and then turn right back around, be having a good time and give us good TV. They dislike each other so much they can't even do that anymore.
I want to be messy. So if any of you guys also watch my friend Gabor, I want y'all to let him know that Garcelle booked another commercial. She's booked. She's busy. And I told if anybody was on that 7-hour live with me last night over on Gabor's channel, he was trying to say that Giselle had a real Dolce and Gabbana outfit for the reunion. That's not the case. So if any of you guys follow Gabor, I want you guys to let him know that this is the real Dolce & Gabbana outfit. It's $2,000. It does not include the crystals, and it did not come in any other color. Giselle had a designer.
Pantsuit?
It comes in a pantsuit or a dress. Zach sent this to me. So, yes, let him know that his girl was wearing a designer imposter outfit. That blue stuff came from Shein, and the crystals came from Hobby Lobby. Just saying. Guys, I thank you guys for being here. I hope that you guys are going to watch Real Housewives of New York as well. I will be watching Real Housewives of New York, and I'll be reviewing it. Should I review it live tomorrow, or do y'all want like a pre-record? Let me know in the chat, and let me know on the replay game. I'm more interested in RHONY's reboot than I am so far with RHOA for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The girl in the far right corner is actually Chanel Eon from Dubai's cousin, and she's been a top model for a long time.
Oh, nice.
Do you think anyone from that cast is not representative of New York City in terms of aesthetic?
This girl's from I think the Boogie Down Bronx, the third one from the left.
Okay.
So she's a real life New Yorker.
They all are. That's New York. That's what New York looks like. New York didn't look like how in the previous cast. This is what New York looks like.
I'm from New York. This doesn't look like New York to me. This looks like Upper Manhattan.
That's New York to me. I'm right there. That's New York to me.
Are they real friends? They have like real friend groups in this group. So I'm gonna give it a try. You know, I'm still gonna be here next week for RHOA. But I'm definitely going to do New York tomorrow because from what I was listening, it seems decent. Yeah, Kai is from the Bronx. The cast has four women of color. Who's the fourth? Oh, somebody who is, I think she is British, but she's also South Asian. A black woman. I don't know if Kai is Latina. I think she from Ethiopia? Where is Chanel Eon from? Do we know? Nobody knows.
No.
Hit the like button. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow for RHONY. Definitely check it out tonight. Let me know what you think. I'm kind of excited about something new. It's a whole new cast, and RHO tonight did not cut it. I'm gonna see y'all Sunday night, 8:30, same time, same place. Thanks to everybody who came up on the panel. Hit the like button on the way out because at least we gave y'all a show. And we read Giselle. Let Gabor know his girl is fake. That ain't what it was. See y'all later. Oh, wait. East Africa. Is that where you said she's from? Somalia, but also from Kenya. Okay. Somalia, Kenya. Good night, y'all. Have a good one.